Derrick Rose.
Quite the night here at the United Center. Welcome on into a special Toyota Bulls postgame live right here on Chicago Sports Network. Jason Goff alongside my teammate, 15-year NBA veteran, fifth pick in the 1990 NBA draft, Kendall Gill. And KG, the Bulls win on Derrick Rose night, 139-126 over the New York Knicks. And, of course, Zach LaVine mentioned it. A couple of other players talked about it. It's a lot of energy in the building tonight. It was palpable, so it was good that the Bulls came through with a win on such a memorable evening.
No, true, because everything was in the Bulls' favor tonight. First of all, it's Derrick Rose night. Second of all, the New York Knicks played a hard game against the OKC Thunder last night in which they lost. All of their starters played 40-plus minutes, and now you got the Bulls that they won every category tonight with the exception of rebounding. And here's what I'm talking about right here. This was the one reason why the Bulls were favored going into this game tonight.
No doubt about it. All the energy, of course, Derrick out there with his wife and his three kids. Celebration of the young man who is of Chicago, from Chicago, and by Chicago. Of course, you see Stacey King and Neil Funk back on the call. We'll talk about Neil in a minute here, but just a great night overall. I think it came off without a hitch, seemingly. And if it did, we didn't see anything because that's how smoothly everything ran. There were no incidents. You had former teammates like Joakim Noah out here. The entire city showed up for Derrick Rose.
Yeah, they did, and it was emotional. It's been an emotional 3 or 4 days for Derrick, because we've seen him express the emotion several times throughout the last couple of days. But you can see right there his son also getting emotional. And I think it's emotional for the fans, too, because, you see one of the favorite sons come home and be celebrated after having a great career here and going away and having a great career as well.
You hear it in the voices of current NBA players, former NBA players like yourself, coaches. Tom Thibodeau addressed it during his pregame presser. You heard Zach LaVine when he was talking to KC about, and the first thing Zach said, everything that he's been through. When you hear from guys who played in the league with him as competitors, as guys who have gone up against him, new D Rose when he was young, lightning quick D Rose, and also the D Rose after that who had to take his career to a different place because of the loss of athleticism due to the knee injuries. It is the common refrain and sentiment around the league that this is one of the favorite dudes in all of the NBA.
No, it is because of the way that he carried himself throughout his career. He carried himself as a humble warrior. Even though he would go in for the kill. He was a killer, but he was humble about it. Death by 1,000 cuts.
100%.
That's what Derrick Rose was. But everybody respected him. Everybody liked him because he wasn't flamboyant. He wasn't boisterous. He just did his job, and he did it very well.
Did it in the Chicago way.
That's
no doubt about it. All right, speaking of the Chicago way, quarter by quarter, I don't know what happened with the Bulls. Maybe it was the D Rose energy, but that third quarter, 41-17, that was the game breaker. And of course, the Knicks got a lot of firepower. This is the team that's going to go deep in the Eastern Conference playoffs. But you score 76 points against a tired team. You do what you had to do. Coby White with a big game, 33, and Zach with 31. But Karl Anthony Towns, he put 40 on this team last time. You saw the Bulls. Gets 44 and 16.
He likes playing against the Bulls.
Yes, he does.
I can tell you that much.
MVP type season he's having this year.
No, he is. And if he continues to play the way that he's played throughout the first half of the season and the Knicks go far in the playoffs, then he may be considered an MVP candidate.
He's right there.
I know Jokic is still playing well, but his team isn't doing as well as it's done in the past.
You got SGA, Oklahoma City. They winning all the games.
Yeah, they're the best team in the Western Conference right now. So if Karl Anthony Towns keeps it up at this clip, then, he's going to get some consideration. But they tried to make a run at the end of the game, and the thing about it was the Bulls were able to hold them off with their play. They came out, they made the plays that they were supposed to make. And interesting thing, Jason, guess who was on the floor at the end of the game?
Yeah, that's that closing lineup.
The closing lineup, Lonzo Ball was in the game at the end of the game to make critical defensive stops and make great decisions because he's an elite point guard.
Yeah.
He started off the season with a 14 minutes restriction. Now he's up to 25 minutes and 21 seconds tonight. I really love what I'm seeing. His progression is starting to come along.
He's getting his legs back. He's getting his shooting stroke back. Looking forward to seeing Lonzo impact games here in the new year. Speaking of impacting games, we've been talking about Coby getting out of that shooting slump. 9 for 11 from three-point arc tonight. 11 from 17 from the field. 33 big points for Coby White. 3 assists, 2 rebounds, only 2 turnovers. He was a plus 10 tonight as well.
No, on that particular shot right there, I said, okay, he's going to have a big night. You know why? Because he was feeling it because he was still on his shot. He did not move. It was textbook. It was exactly the way that Peter Patton teaches it. And then he gets mid-range. He's starting to feel good now. He got his rhythm going. And, you know, I think that Coby is now starting. A lot of players take to mid-season to get into their rhythm, you know. And I think that's what
the injury as well.
He had the injury, had to learn how to play a different style of play that he didn't play last season. So he's starting to come around. These last 3 or 4 games, he's starting to look Coby-like, the guy we saw last season.
Numbers starting to pick up. Speaking of numbers picking up, Zach LaVine tonight, 33 big points for Zach, 13 to 21 from the field. You like it when your backcourt is shooting 60+% from the field. 3 for 6 from the 3, 4 rebounds, 7 assists. Another high assist game for Zach as well, moving it around when teams are trying to collapse on him after he gets hot.
No, I mean, Zach played the total game tonight, and I love the way that the Bulls moved the basketball around. You mentioned Zach's assists, but as a team, they ended up with 36 assists moving the basketball around, and you know that's our magic number here on the pre-half and post-game show, is that when the Bulls are sharing the basketball, they normally win games. They did that tonight. I was happy to see 5 players in double figures. You look at Vooch's numbers as well. I think Vooch ended up with 22 and 12. Josh Giddey, shout out to Josh Giddey. Wasn't in there in the fourth quarter, but almost had another triple-double.
Hey, we talk about him right now. Like you mentioned, flirted with another triple-double tonight. 15 points, 10 rebounds, 8 assists, 5 of 10 from the field. He used his height. He used and getting the ball off the rim and going as a point guard. I mean, you played in the era where Jason Kidd was a maestro at that, taking the ball off the rim and getting it up court. I'm not comparing him to Jason Kidd. I'm just saying it's a luxury when you have a guy that tall who can start the break for you fresh off the defensive glass.
It is a luxury. Hey, young kids out there, if you want to make the league, if you want to play in the NBA, get the basketball off of the rim and push it, okay? And then get paint touches, just like this, paint touch. Okay, now you get either a bucket or you're going to assist because the defense is going to collapse on you, a la Russell Westbrook. Okay? I want to train somebody to be Russell Westbrook with Steph Curry's jump shot. If I got a guy like that, I got the best player in the league.
I was about to say, I would love to train that player too. And I don't have any background in training. I'll just be like, hey, go be great. Go be the greatest point guard ever if you Russell Westbrook and Steph Curry.
I got one in the house, but he's just not listening right now. I gotta get him. Look at. I gotta get him to listen.
He bringing it to the job to reprimand his son. He bringing it to the gig. Hey, Phoenix, I got you. Phoenix, I'm gonna call you later, brother. Don't worry.
Start listening.
Don't worry, Pops. Pop's going through something right now. Do your thing, Phoenix. Do your thing. All right. By the way, you mentioned Lonzo Ball tonight's the player of the game. We always love when Lonzo is on the giving end of a pass, and we always love to see an alley-oop as well. Look at Lonzo go get it.
Lonzo! Hey, that's his second dunk of the season.
Hey, man. Hey.
That knee is feeling pretty good.
I think so. I think so. If the minutes are where they are, and this is a guy who, we were wondering if he was going to play again, he's looking fresher and fresher each game.
Yes, he is, man. And I'm liking the way that he's having the confidence in himself to go up and dunk the basketball. You know how many guys that are coming off of knee surgery, they don't want to do that because they don't want to risk re-injuring themselves or they don't have the confidence that they can get up, And Lonzo, I mean, he's erased all that, man. This has got to be one of the best comeback stories in NBA history.
Hey, I'm loving it. I'm loving it. No matter where Lonzo is next year, whether it be here or elsewhere, just the fact that he's out here playing and competing at the high level with the best athletes in the world speaks volumes. All right, Jalen Brunson. Speaking of volumes, they got 2 guys on their team who are MVP-type players.
They do.
Jalen Brunson, Stevenson High School's finest, right? Goes to Dallas, comes off the bench, goes crazy in a couple playoff series. They let him go. Thibodeau. He goes to New York, and Tom Thibodeau, we know what he does with guards. Puts the ball in their hands, says, go play basketball. Jalen Brunson tonight had 33 points, put up 20 shots, got to the free throw line 11 times, 8 assists, only 1 turnover on the night in 32 minutes. This dude is a phenomenal player.
He is. He's got to be the smallest big man I've ever seen in my life because he can get into the paint, and you're 6'11", 7 foot, and he will still get his shot off. Watch this. Get his shot off. Yeah. Also, he uses his shoulder. He doesn't have 40-inch vertical, but he uses his shoulder to bump you and get more room. That's why he's able to go. Here's a perfect example right here. I'm going to use his shoulder. Lonzo Ball, terrific defensive player, 6'6". Jalen Brunson, what, maybe 6'1"? Maybe 6'1", can get his shot off against anybody. The reason why is because he uses that shoulder and knows how to play off of 2 feet.
Shout out to his dad, Rick Brunson. Every time you see Jalen, you get a little bit of that nasty. It's like, okay, shout out to Rick. Shout out to Pops. I saw Rick down in the hallway, too. Always good to see Rick. Karl Anthony Towns. It's not good to see Karl Anthony Towns if you're a Bulls fan. No. Because the last time he scored 41, I believe. He got 41 and 10. Tonight, Karl Anthony Towns, just a mere 44 points, 16 rebounds, 5 assists on the night, 17 of 29 from the field. He has been reborn. They call him the Bodega Cat these days. The
Bodega Cat, okay. Yeah. I don't know what it is. I mean, going to New York City, going back home, he's from the Jersey area. Maybe have rejuvenated him. We go back to Pau Gasol when Pau was in Memphis. Okay, everybody was like, Powell, the Lakers make the trade, and all of a sudden he goes to LA and he becomes reborn again. I think you're seeing the same thing with Karl Anthony Towns because actually this is the best I've ever seen him play. He wasn't playing like this in Minnesota, even though he was playing good. He's an all-star. But now he's taking his game up another notch.
It's a different level of toughness, too. He's responding in a different manner than we're not used to. Oh, no doubt about it. You know. All right, we got a lot more for you. The New York Knicks fall to the Chicago Bulls 139-126 here on Derrick Rose Night. This is Bulls Postgame Live presented to you by Toyota. You're watching Chicago Sports Network.